exactly.
Yeah.
And we all have our different walks of life. Like for example, I've never been married and I've never been divorced. I don't have that frame of reference. I've never been put through that gyno judicial grinder before. Um, but my frame of reference is I learned from others not to do that. I watched other people burn their hands on the stove, and I learned, that I figured out that stove's hot. I'm not going to touch it myself.
Oh,
Um,
I saw a crazy story recently with a guy. I think the guy was married and he had like two children, a boy and a girl, and he was really also in love with that woman. But I mean, in the end, I mean, I saw a video like a guy playing a computer game, like lawn mowing, and over that was a voiceover, and he was telling the story how he essentially got away. So the point was like the couple was both making good money. They had two kids. He thought everything is good and well, but eventually he discovered an old iPad or something where he could like see some Facebook instant messages of his wife with some other dude, and it was like the way they communicated was like already like like giving off the sexual vibe. So
mm,
he basically s- was very shocked by that, but he started to take screenshots and contact a lawyer. And it seemed to me from the story, the lawyer must have given really good advice because eventually the wife started cheating, meeting with another guy in a hotel room. And he eventually confronted the wife. And the wife was like, eventually, he made it so that the wife left the house so that he could stay in the house together with the two children. And the only reason why I think the wife left the house is because he had all these screenshots printed out in a big fat stack, and he was like, uh, "Either you leave the house, or I'm going to show this to your parents or people you know." And she was embarrassed. She left the house. He also split the joint account into two accounts. Gave her
man,
a
this guy was
check
smart.
for the difference, and then she was like, she wanted to reconcile. Oh, I want to come back, and he just like had no intention. But yeah, but I have to digest this first. So he was just dragging on the time, and then I believe so that he got I don't know 6 months with the kids in the house. And then he very sneakingly printed out some articles online about infidelity and left them on the kitchen table with some paper so that the daughter discovered it. And then the daughter, I mean, he placed it intentionally, but the daughter would discover it as if it was unintentionally. And then she knew why the parents divorced, not divorced, did live apart. And the
Nice.
yeah. So and when he then decided to go through with the divorce, he had and he also at his job he cut the yeah after the woman moved out, he went to counseling and he got like a documentation that he has from the cheating he has like stress, post traumatic stress something, and then in court he really because he but you see how much planning it took him.
Hmm.
He reduced his work hours to have lower income. He established the kids live with him. He made it so that the daughter was really angry at the mom, and because the daughter was angry at the mom, the smaller son also followed the lead of the older daughter. So when it came time in the court, the children wanted to stay with the dad, and now she had to pay.
Awesome. So that
Uh, but you
sounds like
see, normally that it would be exactly the other way around.
exactly, exactly. So what's contriver doing here?
I
Yeah,
just
but
wanted to
mm,
draw the attention of the people towards this very thing, in case if people can't see this.
yeah, I saw that too.
This is a drag queen story, story hour, a drag show in Texas A&M University, encouraged by the counseling center. There is one every semester and getting bigger each time.
That's so messed
What an
up.
amazing show. Thank you, Texas A&M University, for inviting us to join you at the Scream Queens event. If you all missed it, there is one every semester, getting bigger and better each time. And thank you to the gorgeous queens and amazing kings for a fabulous show. See you all next year. What do you think about? What are your initial thoughts, Mr. Kush?
Initial thoughts is you're not supposed to grow things like that. I mean, if you want to have that kind of thing, fine, have it. But I don't think you should be advertising it as something that you should grow the event. I don't think that's something that should be pushed onto people. I mean, you wanna live that lifestyle, fine, but that's not something you should be pushing on children. These people shouldn't be school teachers. Um, and I mean, the university should not be promoting this one way or the other. I mean, these people want to go do this in their free time. They can go do their free time. Why does the university have to promote this?
Okay, just to play devil's advocate, because some people would say, "Ha, you are only giving one side of the story." What about those people who actually like it? So, I believe that you have gone to college and university where some of these fraternity initiations or frat parties and everything, and people would say, well, that was also imposed, and that is why this shall also be imposed. So where is the false equivalence in the two? And
Well, that wasn't.
what used to happen during your days in
Well, during my
your
days as a fraternity guy, this guy who was in a fraternity, you chose to rush a fraternity, as they called it, join a fraternity and become a pledge. That was your choice. The university did not sponsor that. The university, in fact, was oftentimes at odds with the Greek system at my college back in the days when I was there. They never actively promoted that. That was something you did of your own choice. If you wanted to be a Greek, a fraternity member, you could do that. If you didn't want to be, fine. And I had just as many friends who were not in fraternities were in fraternities. I never held it against anybody one way or the other. It was live and let live. It wasn't something sponsored through the university.
Yeah,
okay.
I would say so too. I mean, some things they're just like normally better kept separate. I mean, I do not. You know, the thing that I find so rude about it is like if you have like some sexual orientation or whatever, just keep it to yourself. Don't rub it into anybody's face. It's like rude for normal people. Normal people don't roll like that. They find it maybe unpleasant if you are dancing around and making a big fuss all about it. Just if you do want to do that somewhere else. I mean, it's a higher education. What does this have to do with education? Zero.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, what if it were a bunch of heterosexual couples day? We're gonna have our heterosexual day, our straight white male heterosexual day. Oh my God, you're white supreme pizzas for doing that. It's a double standard once again. One group is allowed to do it, but the other group isn't. If you're going to allow one
Exactly.
group to do it, you have to allow all groups to do it.
Yes. I mean, if we could have an LGBT history month, why not have a straight history month, shall we say?
Yep. Yep.
So,
So, well, even Morgan Freeman touches on that. I watched a video about Morgan Freeman, he was asked by in an interview about Black History Month, and he said he hates Black History Month. He's like, why is my history? Why is Black history relegated to only 1 month? Black
Exactly.
history applies to all months of the year. What what
The
do we need 1 month relegated to it? Black history applies to all aspects of American culture and all months of the year, not just one. And he was smart. I mean, that guy's smart enough to understand that and realize it. He
and
threw it right back in the
the
guy's face and said, "That's bullshit."
that journalist was actually saying the very same thing and doing the very same thing. He said, okay, so which history month is white history month? Because the reporter was white. So he said, well, I'm Jewish. Then he said, okay, which
Yep.
history month is Jewish history month?
Do
He
you want
said,
a Jewish
so
History Month?
yes. And he said, no. Then how do we stop this racism and all that? He said, stop talking about it.
Yep.
I would stop referring to you as a Jewish guy and you stop referring to me as a person of African American origin. That's it. People actually don't realize all these innuendos and participate in all these things. I mean, at this point, it is just asinine, and nobody could stop them from doing something, so they get away with adventurism eventually.
Yeah, and it's just that, and it's just that kind of race baiting crap, and all of that is it's race baiting. It's labeling things where things don't need to be labeled.
Maybe they want that attention and want to cause like a adverse reaction.
Gaslight.
Yeah, maybe they want a counter protest, and that's what they get off of.
Well, no, that's exactly they get people distracted with that bullshit. Where they get people fighting over that silly bullshit while they can get away with doing all of the shit that they shouldn't be doing. That you don't realize you have us infighting over that stupid silly shit. Well, they're getting away with the the fuckery that they get away with.
Yeah, power grab in the background.
Yeah.
Power grab. If you power
Yep.
grab the university, the more power you grab, the more money you can siphon off, the more you can influence curriculum and do God knows what. I mean, I think in Germany it's really bad. We didn't have gender studies, but now we have like so many gender studies departments all over the universities. It's a total disaster.
We have in India as well. They have successfully been able to accommodate and shall we say penetrate the STEM field with psychology as being a part of science. Well, it is not. Just like geology is not a part of science. Physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and that's it. That is STEM.
I mean, it's a strategy. Ah, yeah. Wait a minute. What else? I think I don't know which country that was. I think we had like some. Ah, yeah, Japan. So a German. I think it was a German government delegation went to Japan recently, and me again, sitting in the morning eating breakfast, switching on the news radio. They talk about this delegation, and then boom, the voice comes on of one of the German government officials being in Japan, complaining about. Yeah, the society in Japan is really there's not enough women. It's all men. It's really bad. Uh, it would be better like dictating to Japan, lecturing Japan on what they should do and whatnot. This type of arrogance, you fly to a foreign country and you tell them how to do things.
Well,
This
that is the
makes me
thing.
really angry. Those are government representatives of my country, some stupid fucked up woman. Especially in Japan, you don't tell people what to do and how to do.
Well, that is the thing. They get away with adventurism because it is emanating out of the West. I mean, that they have been successful in cultivating those things to be the Western metric, so to speak, even though it would be not, but they have been successful in doing so.
Honestly, I think this is at the best it borders on racism. If you fly around and you tell I mean, it's in every country. They judge every country by their own moral standards, and then they say, Iranians are evil because the women have to wear the burqa, and it's harshly enforced.
They they
You can
they
have your
they are
opinion.
they even don't know the shall we say the normative standards for a country's shall we say affluence or not. I would tell you how it does, because they actually don't realize that Iran, of all countries who are supposedly suppressing all their women with the burqa and hijabs and niqabs, they have a birth rate below replacement level of European people. Even under hardcore patriarchal Islamic country like Iran, of all places, they have a birth rate of below replacement level, a European birth rate. Now, what you would say to that? If they would not increase their birth rate, and whenever you would hear any man trying to address the concerns of falling birth rates and whatnot, you would see women screeching and screaming at the top of their lungs, Neener, Neener, you are a rapist, Neener, Neener, Neener. That is the only thing you would hear. Why is that? Because whenever they hear addressing the concerns of, shall we say, increasing the birth rate of these countries, well, they would say, well, the human population is not dying. Well, yes, but not in certain parts of the world. That is the, shall we say, Western European, or I might even say it bluntly, the Anglo Saxon civilization. 80% of the casualties in the Second World War were already taken by the Red Army. So they have a gender disparity over there, which people are going to address. I shared a family oriented in Russia. Do people even know that there is a father's commission which mitigates the rights of a father for in case of a divorce or something regarding child visitations and whatnot? These people don't know jack about anything. They just want to debate because they have a loud mouth, and that's it. They have never heard about these places for whose, shall we say, women's rights they are fighting right now.
Yeah, but it seems to me for them it's so normal to put their whatever onto others, and then you have to accept it, right?
Exactly. You have to fall in line or fall on the other side, isn't it? Isn't it the same, very same case in America? You
Oh,
have to
absolutely.
see, it is the same everywhere. In India, there is a marital rape, even within a sacred, shall we say, bond of two human beings of opposite sexes. They have introduced something called marital rape. That when a man, uh, you know, uh, a man has to always take consent of a woman before engaging in any sexual activity.
Sorry, I was just I'm just reading the chat
Yes,
there.
I was also reading,
I'm just I'm laughing. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get
Mr.
accused
Pliskin.
of I'm gonna get accused of simping for Good Mother again here
Well,
probably.
well, we all have been. I have been called a brown knight, white knight, whatever. At this point, it doesn't matter because we are really helping men, and that
Yes.
is our goal. And you are the epitome We stumbled upon you, and we shall not let you go, sir.
Uh, can I quickly
View,
touch?
yes.
Can I quickly touch up on? I think MGTOW Outlaw commented traveling to Japan is on his list. So let me quickly point out MGTOW Outlaw. If you want to travel to Japan, good news, because I think they reopened the country recently. And if
Awesome.
you want to travel there, I mean, I do not know how your time schedule is, but there is a company that rents apartments, I believe, by the month. So you could like rent an apartment for 4 weeks or even 2 months and really stay there for as long as you wanted to. And if you go to Japan, think about where you want to go. You don't. I think a lot of people, they just fly into Tokyo, but Tokyo is really, really big. So depending whether you are used to these urban areas, I mean, if you're coming from a big urban area, maybe that's okay. Or maybe if you want to experience that, that it's okay. But personally, from my experience, I'm a little bit more comfortable with smaller cities. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Osaka, yeah.
I would imagine Tokyo a lot being like New York City here, like Times Square, New York City, or at least from pictures, that's a lot what it looks like to me. And and if you've never been to New York City in the United States, it's a very different experience when you New York. It's not like any other place in the United States, and people underestimate it when they first come there. Um, so yeah, but it's interesting too. I know that I knew you had mentioned, Gray, that you had been to Japan. I too would like to go to Japan, and I may actually end up going there for business sometime in the near future, maybe in the next couple of years, because I will be actually working for a project that will be involving the cleanup there of the Fukushima site.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, yeah, I can't talk much more about it other than that. But it will be involving that cleanup. So, but that's still a long ways off, probably at least a year off. But yeah, I may be taking a trip out to Japan someday, and I look forward to that very much.
Maybe Contriver, if I mean, I do not know how serious MGTOW Outlaw is, but for anybody listening who wants to travel to Japan and stay there for a longer period of time, I posted in a private chat the company. So maybe Contriver, you
Okay.
can put that in the public chat.
Just a second. Just a second.
And other than that, general tips for people who go to Japan: whatever happens, don't cause any disagreements. Even if you're right, don't cause any disagreements. Just
Yeah, they have.
apologize. If you're in trouble, apologize 5 times. And try to create the social harmony. They will value that very much.
Yes, surely. And why not? Because if I would go to a foreign country, I would be scared for my well-being because I'm not in
Yeah,
majority over there. I should not treat the rest of the world as my backyard or my playground. So I shall be reticent about a few grievances if possible. And the thing is, people don't enjoy in the sense that they are making videos and blogs. They just have to look at through the god-given nature natural camera, that is our own retina and eyes, and appreciate the beauty of the nature itself. I mean, if Mr. Kush, you are going to Japan, if possible, you should really visit the city Kyoto.
Kyoto.
Yes, that is
Okay.
a that that city